struggle for life. I'll come back and analyze it in a couple minutes. The statement is simply this. The concept of races and racism comes right out of the theory of evolution. The Bible does not teach that in any way. The Bible teaches all men are a single blood from a single parentage, and the Bible does not give us any races. It gives us tribes and nations. It gives us groups of people that are isolated because of geography or because of government, but not because of skin color or race. And I'll deal with that a little more in a couple minutes. These are the assumptions in the model of evolution. These are the things that have to happen. The non-living has to give rise to living. That's called spontaneous generation. That means that dead chemicals come alive. That's exactly what that means, that dead chemicals. That was disproven by Pasteur. He disproved that as far as science was concerned. But in fact, that is one of the assumptions has to happen. And it took place only once. We know that because of the way the DNA code is structured. In fact, there's some good science being done analyzing DNA and trying to go back in time, trying to fit together exactly what the common ancestry was. Because when they do that, they begin to say, oh, looks like there was a historic Eve. Now that science is under contention right now, so I wouldn't cite that. But just to tell you that, in fact, it would appear that spontaneous generation took place only once. And then these classes gave rise to other classes. Evolution isn't science for these reasons. First of all, it's a model that deals with the past. It can't be proven in the present. Even if we could prove that we could make life in a test tube, that doesn't tell us what happened. That tells us what's possible. Understand that. We can never know what happened unless we have an eyewitness. A single event like the Big Bang or the transition from non-life to life is what's called a singularity. Happened once. Anything that happens once is not scientific by definition, because you have to be able to repeat experiment in science to prove something is true or false. And then finally, it's not science because you can't prove it false. Any good scientific theory has something what's called falsifiability. If I let this go and it did not fall to the ground, I have falsified gravity. That won't happen, but in fact, that's the truth. But I can always prove gravity in the present by dropping something. John Morris has this in the book called The Young Earth out there. I wouldn't have seen it if I hadn't believed it. And the point he's making is this, that people that believe in evolution and say, that's the premise which I start from, and that's how I evaluate the world I see around me. So because they believe it, they see it. I mean, you will read some really incredible things in the evolutionary writings. For example, a cow-like creature decided to go swimming and became a whale. Now, in all seriousness, that's how they say whale evolution. And they will tell you in the write-ups that whale evolution is almost proven by the bones in the fin. Now, wait a minute. A whale has a breathing mechanism that is very different than a cow. I mean, if I put a cow underwater for a couple of minutes, what's going to happen? The cow's going to drown. A whale lives underwater. If I put him on land too long, he'll die.